and Patricia Eckenstam is here, and Ingrid Navarro is here. We are doing our homebuyer workshop, but it looks like it's going to rain outside, so I doubt it's going to be like super busy in here, which means we have time to do a live on YouTube. So hello. So Ingrid and Patricia are going to be watching the comments. Actually, neither of them are in here yet. Gotta go in the room.
I got you.
You got you? Okay. So they're going to come in and they're going to help me because it's really hard to see comments and read comments while I'm explaining stuff. So anyway, just basically going to be answering questions today. It's going to be like really mellow because, yeah, it's like one of those days. So I'm like loving these earrings. I went down to Mount Dora and had a girls' day out not long ago, and it was awesome. And these are the earrings I picked up. It was like a little map of Ocala. It's like itty bitty, but I thought it was really cool. So anyway, but the video for the girls' trek down to Mount Dora is coming up soon, so that's exciting. So hopefully we'll have some people join us here shortly. Right now it's just us, I guess. I don't know. Are you on the live? Can you see? Okay, perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's creepy. Okay. This is new. Normally it's just like me sitting in my room in my recliner and just sitting here chatting with people. But now it's like, it's a group effort. I didn't turn on the air conditioner. Are you guys warm? I'm kind of warm.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So they can look at the board for a second. Yeah, it was set for 76, which to me is just basically 80. Plus I'm drinking a hot coffee, which is not good, but I really needed the coffee today, so it's just been fun. So we're actually going to be talking about how to buy a house, because some people buy houses in other places. It is completely, totally different buying a house in Florida versus Pennsylvania versus New York, California. It's completely different to sell houses. The laws are so completely different. Owning property in Florida is completely different. It's very, very different. Like Pennsylvania, you cannot buy or sell a home without an attorney involved. Yeah, so, you know, title companies and stuff, that's not like really a thing unless they have an attorney on part of their thing. Anyway, so yeah, my mom used to live in Pennsylvania. It was very strange to go through she had to go and see an attorney before she was able to put her house up for sale. Very odd. What else? In New York, it takes freaking forever. It takes forever to buy or sell real estate. The closing process, it could take months. Here it's like, you know, I've done a closing within a week before. So yeah, it's a little different. In California, they've got a process that I can't even contemplate. Like it's even to get a real estate license, like here, we have a, hi Lexi, I can see that one. So we have like one book that we have to study. I mean, it's a thick book, but we only have one. In California, they have 3 of the same size. I mean, it is a process to get your real estate license in California. Totally different laws, very, 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 very different. So kind of interesting. So we're going to go over the process for Florida and how to basically purchase a home here. So basically, I wrote out the basics for purchasing a home. So we're going to kind of go over that and just kind of, you know, if there's any questions, holler. That's what Pat and Ingrid are helping me with because they can actually answer questions and stuff on there, hopefully. Really shout out and I'll try and address them, but I can't look at this and do that, so there we go. All right, anyway, so how to buy a home. Okay, so you're gonna obviously go, actually, where's that sheet? I love that sheet so much. No, the other one, the one that's that one. Yeah, I love that one. Okay, so this is our home buyer's guide, which I will happily send out to anybody that wants it. I can send it through email if you want. If you want to just put your email into the chat, I will make sure that you get one of these. Or actually, Pat and Ingrid will send you one. This is a home buyer's guide, and this is basically, it explains how to take title, the different options that you have here. And one of the things I absolutely love is on, I thought it was page 6, but apparently it's now page 3. This is the entire process, and it kind of goes like step by step by step by step by step. The first step is to interview and select your real estate agent. That kind of goes without saying, I would think. But a lot of times, and I've noticed this lately, realtors are like, no, I don't really want to talk to you. I don't really want to show you anything. I don't want to do anything with you until you go and get pre-approved. Call me back once you've got a lender and you've got pre-approved. Well, how on earth are you supposed to know your lender? Like how? So, you know, we have like a whole team of people that we work with on the regular. So, you know, yes, your first phone call should be to your realtor. That doesn't mean they're going to go out and show you a bazillion houses. No, that's just your first step, is just to make that connection. And yeah, you do want to interview realtors. You want to see who's going to, like, you know, really understand you and who's going to work with you and everything. So you're going to talk to your realtor first. They're going to say, are you paying cash, or would you like to talk to one of my qualified lenders? If you're paying cash, well, you don't even need to go to that step. If you're not, or if you're doing half and half, or if you're doing a full-on USDA loan, or I mean, you might not even know what a USDA loan is. So you're going to talk to one of the lenders. They're going to give you normally 3 to 5 lenders. Everybody thinks that they have to, like, the second they are pre-qualified with a lender, which takes like 5 minutes, they think that's the lender they are, that they cannot change, that is it until the end, and that's who they're getting the loan from. That's not the case. You just need a pre-qualification letter to really get you started on the process and stuff. But I normally strongly recommend that you actually call a couple of different lenders, because it's the same as, like, when you're going shopping for a house, is actually very similar to when you're shopping for a car. If you go to, like, the first place and you just buy a car right on the lot and you go with whatever they want to charge you for the lending or whatever of car loan, you're probably going to pay a lot of money, right? So normally what I recommend is, like, my husband and I shop around for lending for a car before we even go to the lot, if we're even going to get a loan at all. So we'll actually go and check with, like, the credit union, we'll check with the bank, we'll check with, you know, different places to see, maybe online or whatever, and see which one has the best rates and the best timeline and stuff for us. So that I highly recommend. Take a little bit of your time and check with a couple of the lenders and just see which one can give you the best rates. Be sure to check on the same 24-hour time period, because sometimes you'll go to one lender and they'll be like, oh, I can do this for you, and then the rates change even the next morning. So if you're, like, checking with one on one day and then waiting a week to check with another lender, that's not really fair. So do it all at the same time. Just set yourself a day to, you know, check with lenders, maybe not even that much, just a few hours or whatever. Check with lenders, you just call around, you're just getting a pre-qualification and trying to feel them out, see who you kind of click with or whatever. So that's definitely the first part of the process. They're gonna go over things with you that are different. So the reason we like local lenders is because they are lenders for our area. They know our market. They know things about our market that lenders from other areas aren't going to know, such as if you have, like, a family friend that's awesome and maybe they're in Miami or something and they're, like, so great and you really want to use them, that's awesome. Use the words USDA though. no clue. They don't do USDA loans. They're like, yeah, I've heard of that somewhere. You say the word USDA, I say word, it's actually words, but anyway, if you use the term USDA loan here in Ocala with a local lender, they're like, yeah, I do those all day long, because it's very common here. So you do want to talk to a lender that is going to know the area. So that's why we do like to have local lenders. The same with the title company. We really like to use the local title companies because they're more familiar with the way things are done here, which can be very different county by county. So anyway, all right. So they have USDA, FHA, VA, conventional, and of course cash. We love cash. Cash is great because, you know, that's like super easy. But if you are doing a loan, you want to keep a few things in mind. Once you find your awesome, amazing house. You're going to talk to your realtor and you're gonna be like, I would like the Taj Mahal with a massive pool the size of a lake. In reality, here's what I need. I need a 3-2 with a double car garage. It's a little bit different. Hopefully you and your spouse want the same house. That's never fun when they want different houses and you're like, I'm not a miracle worker. You want a 2-bedroom cottage and you want a condo in town. Y'all are going to be living in separate places. Those are 2 completely different houses. But anyway, so once you evaluate your needs, we kind of figure out what you need versus what you want, because you know, all of us want like amazing, but we only want to pay for mediocre. So once we evaluate those needs, we figure out what you actually need versus want, and we do look at what your wants are as well. Then we're going to go and look for houses online. You're going to look through the MLS with us. You're going to say, oh, I do like this, I don't like that. Please be honest. Please don't like just ignore, like I'll send over like 50 listings to somebody and they're like nothing, like no feedback whatsoever. And I'm like, did you like them? Did you not like them? Should I narrow it down? The more we can like really narrow it down on a house, the better. So and just be brutally honest. It's not our house. Like, I don't care if you like it or not. I just need to know if you like it or not. Because if you do love the house, you're like, oh, that is gorgeous. I really love all of the white cabinets in the kitchen. Okay, am I gonna send you a whole bunch with dark cabinets or like rose and teal motif? No, I'm gonna send you some with white cabinets because that's what you like. So when we're narrowing those things down, it really helps to know what you liked or didn't like about a different house. So it's a little bit easier when you're here local and you can actually go look at the houses with us and we can just write off, oh, didn't like the dark cabinets, didn't like this, or didn't like the flooring or whatever. That's fairly easy. But when you're coming from another area, as most of our buyers are right now, we really need that brutal honesty. I mean, feel free to say, wow, that looks like crap and it probably smells worse. We're totally okay with that. It's not our house. It's okay. But it helps us kind of like weed out the houses that really aren't going to work for you. Just, again, be honest, because sometimes you'll be like, oh, I really, really love white cabinets. Send me all the houses with white cabinets. So we send you all the houses with white cabinets that are exactly in the area and the size that you want. And maybe there's all of like 3 available. And then like a week goes by and you're like, what about this house? I found it on Zillow and it has everything I want. Why do I have to do your job for you? Like, and you look at it and it's like dark espresso cabinets. And you're like, I thought you... So, and I've had that recently. I actually had such a nice couple. I really, really, really wanted to help them. So wanted to help them to purchase a home. But they specifically said that they wanted to do a certain kind of mortgage on the house. Well, there is a community here called On Top of the World where they are very, very, very strict about the mortgages you can have. It's a very strict 55 plus HOA community. And you have to go through like this whole interview process and what you can mortgage your house. It's actually in the restrictions as to what you can do and what you can't. So what they wanted to do, they weren't able to do at that house. Every time I sent them properties, they would fire back with, hey, there's other realtors, or Zillow is sending me these properties and these are in our price range and these are beautiful. Why aren't you sending us these? They were all in that neighborhood. Like, that is a neighborhood. Now, I would be happy to sell you that, but you specifically said you wanted to do X with your house. They do not allow you to do that in that neighborhood. Would you still like to, no, we want to do this kind of mortgage. We don't want that. I'm like, okay. They did it like 10 times. I'm not joking. They kept sending me back, like, why aren't you sending us these houses? These are perfect. And I'm like, okay, I don't know how to communicate this any clearer. You cannot live in that neighborhood if you want that kind of mortgage. So just be very clear. I honestly thought after a while, I was like, I'm so sorry. I am just not going to be able to help you. I would love to. You are an awesome couple, but there is no way that I'm not hiding the houses from you, okay? I'm not. I want you to buy. I only get paid if you buy a house. So, yeah, I could very happily and easily sell you one of those houses, and then you are not going to be able to do what you want to do with it. Take your pick. So yeah, it was just, I think, a little bit of a trust level. They just didn't trust that I was going to send them what was available, and what they required. So they just kind of felt like they needed to look elsewhere, and that if there's no trust, there's no relationship. If there's no relationship, I don't have a relationship, and you can go have a relationship with somebody else because it's just not there. So definitely communication and trust is huge when you're working, because there are ups and downs. It kind of goes up and then it goes down and then it goes up. It is a roller coaster ride buying any kind of real estate. So you really have to be buckled in with somebody that you trust, that, you know, there's still going to be tracks by the time you finish the ride. So yeah. All right. So getting back to the actual process, we are going to, let's say, look at this gorgeous house. You're going to have your pre-qualification or your pre-approval, which is even better. That means that you've already gone through all of your W-2s and stuff, and you are pre-approved. That is like the golden ticket. Okay, that's awesome. If you have that, that's even better than a pre-qualification. Pre-qualification just is real quick credit check and whatever you say goes. So if you have that, you're ready to go. You go ahead and submit an offer for the home of your dream. We've talked about it. We've weighed pros and cons. We've looked at different houses. You're good to go. What are you going to do on that offer? Everybody thinks it's just all about the money. It is not all about the money. There's so much more to it than that. There is the inspection time period. It used to be the 15-day inspection period was totally and completely normal, right? So now it was actually built into the contract. If left blank, it's 15 days. That is no longer the case. Nobody wants to wait 15 days, 2 weeks, halfway through your contract sometimes, to find out whether or not the buyer is going to walk away. Nobody wants to do that. So they're all wanting it as quickly as possible. Hey, check the house out. I got other people interested in this house. If you don't want the house, that's fine, but you're going to tell me within 7 days, within 10 days, within 3 days. They want that smaller time frame. So let's say somebody has a full price offer and another person has a full price offer, but one has 15-day inspection period and one has 7-day inspection period. Which one do you think that the seller is going to choose? It's not all about the money. Exactly. So we want to, like, when we're looking at offers and stuff like that, it is not just about the money. Get that out of your head. You can make a really strong offer without having to compete financially if you are doing all the other stuff. And all the other stuff can be like the closing date. Now, if you are doing a conventional loan, it's about 30 days, maybe even less. So we'll write right on the contract, 30 days, on or before X date, 30 days out. If you do that though, you have to make sure that you communicate with your lender and stuff. You got to get 30 days. Sometimes they can even get a conventional loan within like 20 days, but just check with them to make sure that that's going to happen before you put it in there. With anything that has government involved, so like USDA, FHA, VA, check with the lender to see if they think they can get it in 30 days, but normally it's going to be in 45. So make sure that you have your time frame figured out. So normally we'll put on or before. It's probably going to be between 30 and 45 days, but we put 45 days just to be on the safe side. If you're using FHA, VA, or USDA, that will also affect your contract, your offer for the house, because if the seller has already moved out and they're just waiting to close on that house to move on with their life, and it's just, a monkey on their back at this point, and they're worried about this vacant house sitting there, and you're offering X and somebody else offers the same amount or pretty close, and they're closing in 15 or 20 days and you've got 45 days, that's a big difference. So you might want to offer more for your house to compensate for that time frame. Really figure it out. The opposite is also true. If the seller is living in the house, maybe they're elderly and they're going to take and need some time to move, and you can give them 60 days and somebody else is like, I got to be in there in 15. which do you think they're going to offer, or which one do you think they're going to accept? So when you're looking at that kind of stuff, it really, really helps, really helps if your agent has had a little conversation with the listing agent and is like, what do your sellers want? We want to make this as easy for them as possible. We want to have a nice, smooth transition. What do they want? Now, the listing agent can't say how much. They can't tell you details of the other offer or anything, but they can tell you what the sellers are looking for, which is huge. So many times, buyers agents do not contact the listing agent and ask for that information or have that communication, and it can really affect your chances. So make sure that your agent is experienced enough to know stuff like that. So when you're interviewing, that's part of it. Okay, so you got USDA, FHA, VA. We're gonna pretend in this scenario you have a USDA loan. USDA is awesome. It's for rural development. So pretty much all of Marion County qualifies except just this little section inside the city limits of Ocala. But the entire county, so we're probably talking 1,000 square miles at least, is approved for USDA financing. It's a lot of area. Bellevue, Summerfield, Denellen, Anthony, Citrus, all of Citrus County, Citrus Springs, all of it. Pretty much all of Levy County and all of Citrus County. All of it. So there's a lot of areas that you are going to be able to use. The only thing is you have to be just outside of the city of Ocala. So you guys may have seen my videos before where I showed like my neighborhood qualifies for USDA. It's a subdivision. Ingrid actually lives just down the street from me. So it is. It's gorgeous. It is a subdivision. Everybody's like, you know, it's the burbs, man. But it qualifies for USDA. So so it's great because we are maybe 2 miles outside the city limits. Maybe. Yeah, I think I could. Maybe three. Not far. So, and we're getting a Publix like blocks away from our house, which is awesome. So waiting for the Starbucks. I will never ever leave if they build a Starbucks. Like if I can walk to a Starbucks in the morning. Okay. Sorry.
Ride your bike.
Yeah. Oh, I can definitely ride my bike.
200 bike.
Y'all will never see me. I'm just like, I'm at home and I'm staying here. I'm staying at my home at the Starbucks. Like, my husband would die if a Starbucks gets built right by my house, which I think it is actually. But anyway, it's gonna be great. I'm loving it. Anyway, okay. So we're gonna pretend for this scenario that we have USDA financing. And again, if you guys have any questions, let us know. Pat and Ingrid are helping me out with questions, so they will help answer those. Anyway, okay, so you're gonna go ahead and let's say that they go ahead and accept your contract, your offer on the house. Woo! Congratulations, you started the process. So you are now under contract. That means that the house goes pending. I get a lot of questions about that. They're like, oh, look at this house, it's perfect. And I'm like, it's pending. They're like, what does that mean? That means it's under contract. That means that two parties, the buyer and the seller, have agreed to a term. They have both signed a contract. They are moving towards the closing together. You are now a third party over here still interested in a house that is under contract. The only way that you're going to get that house is if that contract falls through and they go their own separate ways. You can then come in as a third party. So what we tell people is if you're interested in that house and that house only, we can go ahead and submit a backup offer. It's not going to go to the seller probably at this point, but if the buyer and seller go separate ways, you're going to be the first one in to present your offer, and then the seller doesn't have to go back up on the market and start from scratch. They can just go right there. So there's a possibility, a very, very slim possibility you will still get that house, but again, that is only if the buyer and seller's contract does not go through. Even if your offer is more than what the buyer submitted, the seller cannot break the contract and go to you, otherwise they'll get sued. That is not gonna happen. No. All right, so you've got a USDA contract on this house. That means zero money down. That's just an awesome program. You can also do buyer assistance if you wanted to. like the SHIP program that we have here in Ocala. They do down payment assistance. So there's some really great programs and great products out there. They have them funding for it. So, you know, go ahead and get those applications into SHIP if you would like to do that. It's a P, not a T, for all of y'all with dirty minds out there. All right, so we've got USDA. We're going to put 45 days out, and you're going to go ahead and put escrow amount. Now, how much is escrow? Everybody's like, how much am I actually going to need to close on this house? Like, what am I actually going to do? All right, if you're doing the SHIP program and you're doing USDA financing, you're pretty much going to move in with next to near nothing. There are a few things that you are going to pay for, so you are going to put an escrow deposit down. That can be as low as maybe, I've seen $500 before. I've done it with zero, but that was years ago. Don't do that. That was a one-time thing. But normally it's about $1,000. I've definitely seen how people want to make sure that you have enough cash to close on the house. So it's a little more normal to see about $2,500. That's a little bit more normal for our area at this particular moment. It depends on what you're buying. If you're buying a $2 billion house and you put $2,000 down, that's not enough. That's not enough. Okay, so you're gonna do, we'll just say you're gonna do maybe a $250,000 house. That you can get a very nice $250,000 house here. So if you're going to do that, that's about $2,500 would be perfectly adequate for the escrow. Where does that go? That goes over to the title company. They're gonna hold it and they're going to do nothing with it. It's just gonna sit there until closing, and then you are either going to use that for closing costs or you are going to get it back in a check from the title company at closing, which is pretty cool. All right, so you got USDA, you've got a contract, you've done 1,000 escrow, 2,000 escrow, something like that. That just sits over there. You can wire it to them. You just check with the title company. If you ever get an email from me or from your buyer's agent that says, hey, wire money to this bank account, that is not from me, okay? I don't send out wiring instructions. I never send out wiring instructions. So just keep that in mind. If you're getting that from your buyer's agent, that is not real. That is a scam. Want no part of it. Okay, you will get the information only from the title company or from an attorney, whoever's doing the closing. That is it. And normally they'll do it over the phone to, you know, confirm the information. All right, so you've got that escrow. Normally you have to get that in within 3 days if your agent did that correctly. Normally we do 3 days, 3 business days. So if you put the contract is accepted on a Saturday, that does not mean like Monday or Tuesday. That's actually further out. That's Wednesday. So heads up on that. So you actually have quite a bit of time, really. More than enough time to get your escrow into the bank. All right, or into the title company's bank. Anyway, you're then going to need to schedule an inspection. Please schedule an inspection. Some people are like, oh, I've lived in lots of houses before. I'll go ahead and do the inspection myself. Don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. Please don't do that. It's really monotonous to go in and do an actual real inspection of a house. They check every single plug outlet in the entire house and make sure that it's grounded properly. They go up into the attic, and normally in like July, it's like 2,000 degrees up there, and there might be a squirrel that's like kamikaze crazy. I don't want to go up in attics. And some houses, some of those older houses, they have like the thing under, you got to go into the crawl space underneath the house. You could not pay me enough to do that. No way would I do that. So they really do, I mean, they want to check and see that the flooring is not going to, you know, fall in on itself because there's a water leak that nobody knows about. The stuff that you see on the surface is not really what you need. You need like the down and dirty information. You need pictures. Also, it can save you a lot of money because if they do a wind mitigation report at the same time that they're doing the inspection, which is cheaper because they're already up there doing the stuff, that can save you a lot of money here in Florida, especially for your insurance companies. So insurance companies, if their house is at a certain age or whatever, if they get a wind mitigation report, they will give you a discount for up to 4 or 5 years. I'll have to check with an insurance company. Anyway, So up to 4 or 5 years, that's how long it's good for. So maybe the $50 extra you pay for a WinMit report could save you potentially hundreds of dollars. So like that's a pretty good coupon. I'd pay for that coupon. So definitely get the inspection, please, 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 please get the inspection. There are at least 2 contracts that most realtors use regularly, the most common ones. There's the residential contract for sale and purchase, which is, you know, you have to use an inspector in order to get out of it during the inspection period. And then there's something called the as is. Those are the 2 in Florida that we use the most as far as realtors. Now, if you don't use a realtor, you don't have to. You can get something from Staples or from an attorney or whatever. But these are the most common for realtors that we use regularly here. So as is does not necessarily mean you're taking the house as is. It means that you are not going to ask for repairs and that you can walk away. You can walk away for any reason. It's actually right there in the contract. You can walk away from it for any reason. You do not have to have an inspector. You can go up to the house and go, the grass doesn't look as green as it did the other day. I'm out. Do we want you to do that? No. But you can say, hey, I thought it was a different shade of salmon in the kitchen. I don't know. You can literally walk away for any reason during that inspection period, only during that inspection period with an as-is contract. When I have a buyer, I normally use an as-is contract. When I have a seller, I normally request or require a residential contract because I don't want to have those watery contracts. I want to lock that buyer in. So it actually normally has an amount that the seller will pay up to in repairs. So I had one agent submit, she wanted like $700 in repairs. Actually, she sent several pages over. She's like, oh, it's just a few things. And then it was like, 6 paragraphs long. Like, she wanted me to apply duct tape to the ducts up in there. Like, what is this? I can't submit this to the seller. But yeah, so she wanted a whole list of stuff. I was like, hey, according to the contract, you got $500. That's what we agreed to, and that's what you got. So spend it wisely. Past that, there's the door. Don't let it hit you. Never mind. So yeah, that's basically what we had on that. So you can negotiate those terms ahead of time, but we really have to understand our contracts. So make sure that your realtor understands the contracts, and you can find out because they're going to explain the contracts to you. So if they're going through it and they're like, hey, just sign here. No, have them go paragraph by paragraph, not only for your benefit, but also to make sure that they understand what they're asking you to sign. This is one of the biggest assets of your life. Make sure they comprehend what they're asking you to sign, because if they don't comprehend it and they're just asking you to sign it, how are you supposed to be responsible for that? That's crazy. It's absolute craziness. This is hundreds of thousands of dollars, for crying out loud. It's a short contract. It's like what, 12 pages? 12 to 14 pages, depending which one you use. It's not that bad. All right. A lot of it's just filling in the blanks, Anyway, all right. So you're going to go ahead and do your inspection. How much is your inspection? It depends on the size of the house. If you've got like 6 separate outbuildings and you've got like a 6,000 square foot house, it's going to be a lot more than a 3-2 cookie cutter right in town. So normally for like the 3-2 cookie cutter around here, it's anywhere from $250 to $450 depending on what parts and pieces you want, such as if you want a WDO. Everybody says WDO. What's WDO? Termites. We call them wood destroying organisms because it covers a multitude of bugs. We got bugs like crazy down here. I don't like bugs. I don't want bugs. So I'm really good friends with the pest control company. I keep them very close to my heart. They do. Although it was a little too close, because at one point he was like really fascinated with bed bugs when they started showing up on the horizon. He's like, hey, I've got a jar of them. You want me to show them to you? I was like, if you bring those anywhere near me, I will kick you. Like, no. And he's like, yeah, I'm just, trying to figure out these bed bugs. Ugh, no. So yeah, anyway, so if you do the WDO, you do the WinMit, you do a full-on home inspection, they will test everything from the temperature coming out for the air conditioner. They literally test the air. They will check how much insulation. They will check every electrical outlet. Something like that is going to be more in the $450, $500 range. So just so you know, around here anyway. Again, I'm talking Marion County. If you go down to Miami, it's going to be completely different. I'm not talking about Miami. Okay, I'm talking about here. A lot of this stuff, it's the same contracts, but maybe they do things a little bit differently. So I'm just talking about us and here, just for that little disclaimer.
Regulations are different too.
Oh yeah. Oh, very, very different down there. Very different. All right, so you've got your inspection. You're like, okay, we've got this. We negotiated the repairs. We're good to go. Do you have to wait the entire length of the inspection? No. You can actually, if you've already done the inspection, maybe the guy, the inspector was ready to go out right away. You've got it done. You only used like 3 or 4 days and you're like, okay, I'm on day 4 of a 10-day inspection. Let's move on. We move on. As soon as you say, I am content with the house the way it is, I understand its flaws and its, interesting quirks. All houses have interesting quirks, especially new construction. So just a heads up on that one. But if you say we're ready to go, then we move on to the next step. You don't have to wait until day 10. Everybody thinks, oh, I got 10 days. I'm going to wait 10 days. No, move on. Let's get this moving, okay? So once you've negotiated out the repairs, then we go on to appraisal. Yay! It's the word everybody freaks out about right now. So appraisal is where the lender has to decide for themselves from a separate third party that they are actually investing their money. It's their money, not your money. They're investing their money in an actual house that's standing there, and that it's a good investment, okay? Because they have people they report to too. So that appraiser is going to schedule a time to go out and they're going to check out the house, make sure it's where it's supposed to be. Make sure that it's, in fairly good condition. They're just going to do it. They're not going up in the attic or anything like that. They're going to just kind of the basics. There's some things that they look for. If the roof is sagging or something like that, they're definitely going to make a note of that. But they're not inspectors. They're just going to do a basic overall view of it and move on. They might check the outside with the tape measure. I haven't seen that done in a while lately, but that could happen. They're going to check the market and do a real quick analysis to see if the house is worth what the bank is going to pay on it. So they'll need a copy of the contract. They're going to want to make sure of the amounts. They're going to check into other sales that have recently sold in the area. And then they kind of go from there. If they say you're getting a good house at a good, decent price, then you get to move on. Now, who pays that appraiser? The buyer.
The buyer.
The buyer. It's their deal. They're the ones asking for the loan. Any fees, they're paying for it. The bank doesn't do anything for free. No. So that appraiser is actually going to need to be paid for by the buyer. So that's another cost that you're going to have. So far, adding it up, we've got the escrow amount that's just sitting in title. That's like $1,000, $2,000, whatever your house is buying, whatever you're getting. So that's sitting over there. You've got the inspection anywhere from $250 to $450, $500, whatever. Depends on how much of an inspection you got going on. And then the appraisal, that's around $500. It's kind of gone up lately. So I would say anywhere from $500 to $1,000 is pretty accurate for, we'll say, an average house. We'll say average right now. So for an average house on the market right now, it's going to be about $500 to $1,000. So that's sitting there. So what do we got so far? We got 500, maybe 2,000, and the other side we got about $3,000 sitting there, okay? 3,000. You're also going to need to do a survey. Now, do we order the survey right away? No, we wait until you're done with the inspection and we wait until you're done with the appraisal. Because if either of those two didn't happen or you couldn't get that negotiated through or if there were surprises or whatever, why on earth would you pay for a survey? No, so we wait until the inspection is done first. Then if the inspection's good, then we move on to appraisal. If we get past that hurdle and it's all good, then we're going to move on to the survey. So we don't want you wasting your money. We're trying to protect your money. So don't try and jump around and do things in different orders. It doesn't work that way. You got to do it in the order it appears. That paper right here, the Homebuyer's Guide, like I said, I can email that out to you. Just send over your email and Pat or Ingrid will go ahead and email it over to you. It's like this whole big thing on how to take title. If you want, it has every single school in Marion County, both public and private, and the contact information. So if you want that version, there's that as well. There's also one that has sample contracts in it. So it's basically all the information you could possibly never want is in this information. So, all right, so we are going to get past the survey, and then what happens? We're past the survey. 3 days prior to your closing, you are going to get sent a basic idea of your closing costs. It's not going to be exact. I wish it were exact. They try, bless. But they normally go a little bit higher and freak people right out. But it's better to go higher and then be lower than if they went lower and then it's higher, because then you could walk away. So they're going to go a little bit high with their closing costs and everything. And it's not going to be exactly accurate because they don't have all of the numbers yet. But by law at this point, they have to send you an estimated closing cost and loan analysis and all of that 3 days prior to closing. Okay, so you're going to get that. You're going to say, yep, that looks like what we talked about. And then you're going to sign off on that. And then we're going to move towards closing. So exciting once we get to that. The day before or the day of, your realtor is going to be like, we got to do the walkthrough. And you're like, what the heck's a walkthrough? And you're going to go walk through the house. You're going to make sure the ceiling is still up and the floor is still down. And basically, it's not a full-on inspection. You don't need to have other parties there. You're basically just going to make sure that they have maintained the home throughout this whole process and that you are now ready to go. One thing that happens at times is we'll pull up for the walkthrough and the seller is still throwing stuff in the van. Okay, the seller needs to be out of the house so that we can do a proper walkthrough. If the seller says, and this has happened more than once, if the seller says, hey, I've got some stuff in the garage, but I can come back after closing and pick that up. Is that okay? No! No! You know what always happens? They don't come back after closing. They will come, and they normally say it when the realtor's not around. So I'm like, I stick like glue with the buyers. I'm like, we are going hand in hand. Do not talk to the seller. Do not make any arrangements with the seller. Let me do the talking. Okay, so when those kind of scenarios come up, just feed them your realtor and be like, that's up to her. Go deal with that. Because you want to be all nice. You're like, oh, I'm getting this house. You're all happy. You're excited. It's closing day, whatever. And then the seller is going to throw something like that at you. No. Because what happens is they might not come back and get their stuff for like a month or two. I'm not joking. This has happened. So, you know, don't, there is no sidebar agreements. In fact, you can't make any side agreements. Contractually, you cannot do it. So, nope. I make a quick phone call. Hey, listing agent, kitten's out of the box. You might want to explain life to them real quick or else I'm gonna. But no, they have to be out of the house completely unless you have that as an agreement already in writing well ahead of time. It's not like this closing just happened. They had 30, 45 days or whatever. So, you know, you can offer to call a couple of guys and like, hey, I will help get your stuff out the door. But no, you cannot keep this in here. At closing, the key goes from the seller to the title agent. They hold it, and as soon as the funding comes in from the bank and everything is all copacetic and everybody has their funds and paid and whatever, it goes from the title agent to the buyer, and it's your house, and that's it. So any of the belongings that were of the sellers that are in the house are now yours, whether you want them or not. So if they left their kid's bike, it's now your bike. Like, it is done. It is done. It is gone. It is done. It is your house with whatever. So some sellers have a hard time grasping that scenario, but that's the house is gone. It is done. It is closed. And the paperwork spells all of that out. So as you're signing stuff, they will literally ask you, do you have any side things that you've decided or whatever, and you have to put an affidavit and say nope. Yeah, no money, no nothing on the weird side or anything like that. So anyway, but yeah, once you get your keys, it's yours. It is now yours to do with. Normally these days I very kindly request that the sellers pay for a home warranty. It doesn't always happen, and again, it depends on the offer that's being made too. The buyers can buy a home warranty. During the recession, that was not something that I ever requested, or even contemplated. But at this point, I do, because you don't want to move into the house and then all of a sudden the air conditioner just decides that's a good day to die. That sometimes happens. It sometimes happens. If it's new construction, you have a warranty from the builder for a year. But if it's not a brand new construction and it's just out there, then it's good to have a warranty. And there's these home warranty companies that do offer that, and they will either repair or replace like appliances or air conditioners or whatever. So kind of interesting. Something that we've had, sorry, I want my coffee. Shocker. Something that we've had this year that we have not had before is roofs.
Yeah,
Everybody's just like, oh. So, I honestly, the word roof right now for all realtors is basically a cuss word. Okay, so what happened was, a few years back, it's been a while, but yeah, like there's always some kind of insurance scam. I swear. I think honestly people lay awake at night just thinking how they can scam the insurance companies. But so it used to be 2008 to 2012. That was the big sinkhole scams that would go on. There were legitimate sinkholes that needed to be remediated or whatever, but a lot of people were upside down in their mortgage, and they figured out if there's any kind of depression on the property, or if there's any kind of cracks or anything like that, which there's always settling cracks. So they figured out that they could actually just get the full amount for their house and walk away from the house, and literally the insurance company would have to pay off the mortgage if they claimed sinkhole. Now the house then was claimed it had a sinkhole. It went on the public records. Did it actually have a sinkhole? Who knows? I heard statistically that the insurance company said out of like the 5,000 insurance claims that they had for sinkhole, just one company, during that time frame, out of all of that, there was actually only like 5 that had legitimate sinkholes. But because the insurance at the time was written unclear about sinkholes, because it really wasn't that big of a thing before. I mean, yeah, we do have sinkholes, but not like what was being reported. So of those, now it's like almost impossible to get sinkhole full coverage insurance. Like now it's catastrophic damage only is how it's covered. So, a sinkhole that's catastrophic, that is a big deal. That is a big thing. Yeah, you want no part of that, but it's kind of gone a little bit further even. It's like if your entire driveway and car gets eaten, that does not count as the house. I mean, it's really gotten a little bit too far the other way, but whatever. So there was a lot of fraudulent claims, and people were even like excited about it. They would blatantly tell me, oh yeah, I had a couple of cracks, so I just called it, and then and I got to take advantage of their insurance. Yeah, but how many people have been affected by that now? How many people have legitimate claims and they're having to fight really hard with the insurance companies? That's not cool. All right, so bringing that back to roofs, for a while after that, we then saw a lot of roof claims. Oh, it was a thing. 4 shingles off the roof. 4 shingles off the roof would be considered damage enough to the roof to get it completely replaced. So they would call, so some of those got helped along being removed off the roof. Oh, wow, bad storm hit. Well, I mean, how many times does Florida have a bad storm? So a lot of those, Marion County, not so much, but like any kind of thunderstorm technically count it. So they would be like, hey, there was a thunderstorm on Thursday. All of a sudden, I've got 4 shingles off the roof. I get a whole new roof. Well, it's in the insurance, so they claimed it. And anybody that didn't get the full replacement of the roof, there was an attorney for that. So insurance companies lost millions of dollars on roofs. I mean, you gotta think like a regular roof would be, around 10 grand. So give or take 1,000. So if everybody's doing the same thing, and I mean, you've actually seen it probably on billboards and stuff where it's like roofing companies partner up with an attorney and they're like, need a new roof? We can get you one for free. So what's happened? Doesn't work for very long. The insurance companies are now saying, well, since you scammed us out of money and since we're having this issue, we are not going to write a policy on any house that has an older roof. And older means like 10 years, okay? So now here we are in 2022 and we're selling houses left and right, of course, as is our job. And there's no insurance policies being written. They're like, nope, that roof is 12 years old. It has to be replaced. We're like, it's perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. It has lots of life left in it. You'll probably have like 8 to 10 more years out of that roof. No. And the buyers cannot get a financing. They cannot get any kind of financing if they do not have insurance on the house. So insurance companies have effectively stopped the sales on houses with any kind of financing because they will not write a policy.
So basically it's on the seller.
It's on the seller. It's something that you have to negotiate. The buyer can't get. So anytime there's like a house with a brand new roof, we're like, yeah, that one, get that one. All of my sellers that are going up and they're listing houses, I'm just like, you need a roof. And they're like, it's not leaking. I'm like, doesn't matter, you need a roof. Okay, I'm just telling you right now, let's go ahead and it's gonna be a really good thing for you. Just put a roof on. Can you put a roof on? Put a roof on. And that's like the first line. Brand new roof. That's a really big deal right now. Because a lot of buyers maybe have lost out on houses because they didn't have a roof. Now, is this completely killing real estate? Obviously not. We have a huge, very hot market right now. But it's still a pain in the butt. If it's a cash deal, conventional also is not as picky with things. So, but yeah, if you're doing USDA, FHA, or VA, and that roof is like even 10 years old, I would be a little worried. And it's crazy because you don't find out until like closing. Yeah, so fun. Like really close to closing. That's when they pick the insurance company, right?
So the companies give you 25 years on the roof, but you really have 10.
No, yeah, oh yeah. So kind of interesting. And how you did the roof is a big question mark too, because there's like a metal roof. Actually, a lot of times they don't remove the other roof. They just put the metal right on top.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Perfectly fine. However, it's like double layer for most of it. Like I wouldn't mind if it was my house. However, the insurance companies are like, oh no. That is not a full re-roof. That wasn't a full replacement. It was just a roof over. So that won't qualify. And heaven help you if you got cousin Bob that owns a roofing company to go and do your roof for you and you didn't pull a permit. Cousin Bob better get his butt back over there and get himself a permit on that. Because the insurance company, the first thing they're doing is checking the roof replacement, making sure there was a permit for it. Because if you've got a brand new roof up there, but you don't have a permit for a brand new roof up there, you don't have a brand new roof up there as far as they're concerned. Kind of crazy. So now you understand, roof is now a cuss word for all realtors. We're like, sometimes the insurance company will go ahead and write a policy and you think you're free and clear. You're like, whew, okay, we're good. It was 10 years old, but we're good. 30 days after they have bought that house, the insurance company says we're going to drop you off the policy. You have 30 days to get a brand new roof. No notice. You think you're all free and clear. You've got years on that house. No, you don't. So it's such a hassle right now. It is such a hassle right now. New construction. I love new construction. We're selling so much new construction because you don't have that issue. It's a brand new roof. And the prices of new construction are comparable to already built houses right now. So kind of interesting. One of the questions I get asked quite a bit is on new construction, do we encourage an inspection on it? Yes. Yeah. Because just because it's new construction doesn't mean it's perfect. So yeah, I would strongly, yeah. Pat's over here going, yeah, you know, she's been in her brand new construction custom home for all of 30 days and she's having an electrical issue and she's like, ooh. So having, the inspection done before you do the final sign off. I know everybody's like, I've waited forever for this house, like more like a year or 18 months, but I've waited forever to be in my new home. I don't care. I'll just take it, whatever. No, do your inspection and then you're not going to have as many issues later. You're always going to have issues. It's a house. Okay. It's not built like, it's not perfect. It's a house. You're always going to have something you want to redo, or you want to upgrade, or you want to put in a pool, or you want to do something. There's always something. But at the same time, you want to make sure that you have the inspection. Because I was out looking at some houses. I say that recently. It's been a couple months, but I was out looking at some houses, and as you guys know, I have a slight issue with trespassing, and that I trespass. Normally it's only when the workers are there and I ask permission, so it's not quite trespassing, but you know, I want to see how the houses are built, especially when it's a company that I don't know or a builder that I don't know. So normally I'll try and hunt down the supervisor and be like, hey, can I come and check out the house? But there was one that I went to recently and nobody was on the property, and I did not know the company, never heard of them before, and I'm like, I want to see, you know, because once you got drywall on, it's really hard to see what kind of builder they really are. So, you know, I want to be careful. I want to make sure not to, you know, step on what concrete or tile jobs or anything like that. Don't want to do damage. And by walking into a property, you can do damage. So you got to be really careful. But I wanted to see what was going on with the house, and I was shocked and appalled. I don't know how in the world they ever got permits on that house. The rafters did not have any support, and it was like at all. I'm like, that the roof is going to fall in. Like, I was shocked at how bad the construction was. I am not a GC, I'm not a general contractor, and I'm looking at this going, oh my God. So that builder obviously went on a list of never to recommend, ever. In fact, if somebody came to me and asked if they should go to that builder, I'd be like, no, no. It was really, 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 really bad. And I'm sure that there's going to be lawsuits, because that's what I saw before the drywall went on. And I was like, no. Normally, like DR Horton, Triple Crown, any of them, you know, I'll ask the reps or the representatives or the owner even and be like, hey, can I go and take a look at the job site? They're like, yeah, don't get hurt. But, you know, I'll go and take a look, and you can really see, you know, that they are doing a quality job. Now, is it going to be absolutely perfect? No. No. But would I recommend them? Yes. And are they going to take care of what is messed up? Of course they're going to take care of it. So they stand behind their warranty and stuff. So I really do. There are some builders that I do like. And there are some that I'm like, oh dear Lord, no, no, honey, no. So yeah, kind of crazy, but that is basically how to purchase a house here in Marion County in Florida. If you're looking to actually purchase a house, there's the basic, very basic steps in an hour. An hour. Is there any questions? We didn't have any questions. They were just looking at me like, wow, y'all don't have any questions for me. Holy smokes. Okay. No comments? No nothing? Oh my goodness.
For a new home, the whole process is basically the same.
Why you always have the best questions, Ingrid? Yes and no. I gotta make sure, like, I'm gonna duct tape her. She always asks the questions where I'm like, stump the broker. No, actually, it just depends. It really just depends. For a spec home versus a custom home, those are completely different processes. So spec means speculative. So the builder went out and was like, I'm going to buy 10 lots myself in this one area, or 20 or 30 or 50 or whatever. So like DR Horton, for example, they build the entire community. Those are speculative homes. They're going to go ahead and build whether they have a buyer or not. They're just going to, if they build it, the buyers will come, is their concept for that. So those are speculative. That is a very different process from a custom home. Or in speculative homes, it's more like this. This is very similar. We don't use normally our contracts for those. Sometimes we do, most of the time we don't. For D.R. Horton, for example, as an example in this case, sorry if I'm using you, but you know, I'm very familiar with them and I like their houses. So anyway, so for them, they use their own contracts. If it's a larger builder, they normally have their own contracts to use. We don't write the contract on that. We basically are there just to help them along with the process, help them with the lending and stuff like that. But normally those are about 3 to 6 months out. They're normally nearing completion before they even offer them up for sale. Okay, so you're not going to get like a piece of land. You're going to get, I think even the roof has to be on at this point before D.R. Horton will actually sell the house. So it's going to be a longer time period normally. It's very rare that they have a house that's completely completed. They've got a certificate of occupancy, or CO we call it. It's very rare that they actually have a completed house that's just sitting there ready for somebody to move in. That's still going to be a little bit faster, I think, though, than the 30 days out, because, you know, the appraisal's pretty easy. All the houses are identical from the same builder in the same neighborhood. So, you know, there's some things are a little bit faster. Also, D.R. Horton is so big that they actually have their own mortgage division and will give you a huge discount if you use their lender, because their lender, they will fly through it. They know that all they know is D.R. Horton. That's literally how they do.
That's an important point that people need to understand. I went through the process. So when you go to a builder, use their preferred lender, because they will find a way to finance you. Mm-hmm. That's what they're there working with that builder.
They know that builder. Exactly. They know the process. Definitely use the lender's preferred, or the builder's preferred lender. Definitely. Absolutely do that. So I saw a comment or question pop through. I couldn't read it because I'm like too far back, but you gotta read it out loud.
Looking to move there from Arizona in August. I'm more worried about finding a job in Ocala.
No problem. There is no problem with jobs here. Oh my goodness, there are so many jobs here. It's ridiculous. It's like we're getting more jobs here. If you go into any restaurant even, they will gladly hand you an apron and say you start now. I've literally, it's so crazy how many people, and they're pretty good paying jobs actually. So yeah, we are severely understaffed in pretty much every industry. If you have anything to do with building houses right now, you're going to be busy.
You know, also we are pretty close to Gainesville, which is if they work in like in a health area.
Or the villages. If you, if you're anything having to do with healthcare, Advent Health is hiring like crazy right now. Ocala Health is hiring like crazy. But down in the villages, they always need healthcare professionals, traveling nurses and stuff like that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, absolutely. So you can actually live in like Summerfield or Bellevue and work in the villages, and that opens up a whole new huge area to you. That being said, I would actually talk to your realtor ahead of time as to what job you're looking for or what job you're getting, because if you are looking for like a job in the villages and your kids are going to go to the villages charter schools, your life is going to be basically in the villages, and you want to live just outside the villages, which is what I highly recommend. You're going to want to live in like Summerfield, and there's some beautiful neighborhoods down there. I love Orange Blossom Hills, great area. Just perfect. I love it. I would live there in a heartbeat. However, if you are going to live there and you're going to be working in the villages and stuff, that's perfect. If you come down here and you go looking for houses and you don't explain that to your realtor, we may put you in Morriston or Anthony or Citra or something like that. And then it's going to be like an hour trek for you one way in order just to get to work, or, the kids to go to school or something like that. So be very careful where you're going to be working, and we'll look in an area around your new job. because
I have,
it's too far.
I have some clients.
Hi, Pat just left. You want to say hi? Come on, come say hi. She was just like tech support over there.
Hi everybody. I'm in behind the scenes.
Yeah. I was like, I'm gonna do a YouTube live since we don't, we're not gonna have too many people at the Homebuyer workshop today. I was like, and they both were like, no.
It's always terrifying to be behind cameras, but just encourage everybody, call us.
Feed me to you guys. They
Yes,
throw me up there all the time. They're like, oh
I
yeah,
know.
you do it.
I have done a few videos more coming up, but I'm here to help anybody. Hablo español, speak Spanish, aquí a la orden. No tengan miedo de hacer preguntas. Estamos aquí para ayudarles, ¿ok?
Perfect.
Mucho gusto. Bye, everybody.
Bye. She's gotta go do a showings. So, what is that one saying? It's really hard to see. It's like really
talking
tiny.
about trying to see where your life and lifestyle is gonna be before buying the house.
Yeah, because Marion County is huge. It's basically the size, just a little bit smaller than the state of Connecticut. So if you were like, hey, can I buy a house in the state of Connecticut? Yeah. But, where are you going to work? Where are the kids going to school? Let's tell me what you want first. What's your main quadrant going to be? Like, we break down the county into quadrants. So you'll hear southeast, southwest, northeast, northwest, and then the cities are what breaks it down even further. So you'll be like, oh yeah, I live over in the southeast Ocala. Oh really? Where? The Shores. Okay. Just saying that only breaks it down to, I don't know, maybe 20,000 houses. So, yeah, if you say Southwest Ocala, okay, but what if it's Denellen? Oh, I live in Denellen. Okay, where? Citrus Springs. Well, technically that's not even Denellen, but it's like 5 minutes outside. That's actually in a different county. That's actually Citrus County. It's craziness. So,
He said that he's coming in June to see Ocala.
cool. Well, come in here.
We're
We'll
gonna have
chat.
vacations in here so they can go to the springs.
Oh, nice. So yeah, that's actually a lot of fun. Go camping. Go check out the.
Camping. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be hot. Like June in Florida is hot. I'm not gonna lie, it's hot. June, July, August. I know that's when all the kids are out of school and it's like convenient to move.
Yeah.
But that's those are the months that we basically hang out inside and enjoy the air conditioning. We don't
But in the
do
afternoon,
out.
it's pretty nice, to ride your bikes and go.
Yeah, but what do you consider afternoon? At least after 5 or 6 at night. Yeah, it
because,
has to be late.
It's 8 o'clock and you still have light.
Yes, that is true. In summertime, we have light until what? It probably gets dark about 10 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. So,
8:30.
yeah. So right now it's already starting.
Days are long.
Yes. During the summertime, realtors' days are super long because we can do showings on houses until like 8 o'clock at night. So yeah, that's actually pretty normal. I really enjoy the winter when it's like, oh, sorry, it's dark at 5. You're not gonna be able to see much outside that house. So I actually can see that one. That one's it says Arizona is 120 degrees in June. That is sick.
Wow.
That we don't have that here. It will feel like 120 degrees, but it's not actually 120 degrees. We only get maybe at most maybe 100, 105, 108. If it's like over 100, that's like nobody's going outside. Like we're not touching that one.
We don't have scorpions in here. That's a good thing.
We don't have what?
Scorpions.
Oh, well, we get the little, like the itty bitty.
They're very tiny.
Yeah, they creep me out though. I've never been stung by a scorpion. I don't want to. They're creepy. But yeah, y'all got like Arizona tries to kill y'all. Like the stuff here like hurts us, or could hurt us, but it doesn't try and kill us. Arizona and Texas, y'all, they really do try and kill you. Big old scorpions and snakes and all. Ugh. I'm from Puerto Rico and not worried about humidity. That's good because we got humidity like you wouldn't believe here. And that's why it feels so hot. It's like it's not a dangerous heat like Arizona and Texas. I was raised in Texas. That's why I keep saying in Texas. And I remember it would get like 113, 115 degrees and it's dry heat. So it didn't feel that hot. It felt like, maybe 90. But yeah, you'd pass out and it could actually kill you. Here, we don't really have that. It feels gross. It's like you're in a sauna. It's just nasty. You feel wet, clammy and stuff, but it's not dangerous heat normally. So, I mean, I wouldn't try running a marathon in it, but it's not that bad. It's not too bad. So yeah.
That's really good, to know before moving or buying a home, to know more about your style, your lifestyle, and what are you gonna do.
Yeah, I think if you're more, I don't know. Yeah, I guess figuring out what your lifestyle is the key thing. I normally start with like, are you going to want to be near civilization? And I consider civilization a Starbucks, because Starbucks seriously does their research, okay? They don't go just anywhere. If it's not going to be, a really, populous area, they're not putting a Starbucks there.
Viable.
Yeah, they want to make sure they have the money. So I figure out like how far away from a Starbucks somebody wants to be. If they're like, I couldn't care less about Starbucks, and I want to drive 20 minutes to even get a gallon of milk. I'm like, oh, I got a place for you. So,
some people don't mind.
No, some people really, they want to be with the trees and the animals. They don't want to be with the other people. That's okay. We got you. Other people are like, I want to live in the suburbs. Well, we got quite a bit of that. Let's narrow it down a little bit further.
Some people also wants to live pretty close to nature, like the springs.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
They enjoy that. So
yeah.
Whatever
so then it's just
priority is.
Horses. If they want to do horses, it's probably going to be the
northwest.
Yeah, northwest section of Marion County, and that's still a huge, huge, huge area. My husband just texted me. We're supposed to be going out blueberry picking after this. So it's blueberry season. I love blueberry season. So I'll do a video. I think we go to Abshire Farms. I love it. It's so beautiful.
Like Winston?
No. It's down in Bellevue. It's kind of border of Bellevue and Ocala. But yeah, this is blueberry season now.
Yeah,
so.
I did it 2 years ago with my grandma, my mother and my mother-in-law.
Okay, so yeah.
Very nice.
They love it. We share it with the neighbors. We get gobs and gobs and gobs of blueberries. I'm the fastest blueberry picker. I can normally fill my bucket, and then Lexi normally eats her way through the blueberries. So she does. So her bucket gets like about that full, and then I swap my blueberry bucket out with hers, and it looks like she actually picked a whole bunch, but I want to keep picking. I enjoy picking. It's very cathartic.
Takes the stress away.
Yeah, David is not as fast, but his blueberries are the best. He analyzes every single bush and then decides which are the best blueberries on the bush and only selects those.
Good ones, yeah.
And he is extremely detailed and selective. I basically am like, one bush, give it all to me. And I go for bunches of them at a time and stuff. So I'm like, it's great. So every year we go, and then when we get home, I freeze all of the blueberries, and we have blueberries all year long. We absolutely love them. So we love going every year. Abshire, I absolutely love. They have just a really great place. I don't know who just walked in, so.
Yes, how are you?
Is it 12 o'clock yet?
Somebody just walked in. Hold on.
Yes, we.
Hello.
When does it start?
So somebody just came in for our homebuyer workshop, so I have to go. I'm going to teach this again. So you guys have a fabulous day, and thank you so much for hanging out with us. And yeah, I have to go for like people in non-digital form. I'll see you guys later.